trying times we're in, apparently. All right. I actually recently finished the Sean Ryan show. It was episode 149 with Sarah Adams. All right. And if you haven't listened to that episode, listen to this video and then go back and listen to that episode, or vice versa, whichever way. But if she's even 1% correct, our federal government has failed us tremendously on a scale that's astronomical. And in lieu of the recent terror attacks in New Orleans, I was bouncing around this idea after I finished that podcast a while ago. And now I see this happen. And this is just an idea that I actually think they briefly touched on during the episode, but they didn't really dive in. And it sparked an idea in my head. Do we need a counterterrorism response team? Now, listen when I say this, because the way it's processing in my head, man, I just had so much going on in my head. I even had to write stuff down. I probably still won't cover it all. But what I'm thinking, if she's correct and we have that many terrorists in our nation, it's impossible for the government to do it all. They've already failed on the federal level. So now it's up to the state level, but not only the state level, I think it's up to us, just your everyday civilian. And I say this in the aspect that I feel like a counterterrorism response team needs to be made up of, yes, government on the state level, but I think it needs to trickle down to all the way to your city, your local, and even your county, to where you have these specific teams. It's like bringing back the modern day Minutemen, if you will, where, I mean, hell, the Americans love guns so much. Let's put them to use. Let's join together and do something about it. I feel like these teams can be made up of veterans. There's plenty of veterans that I'm sure will be more than willing to not have to go to anybody else's land to defend this country and be able to make an impact locally. And hell, there's plenty of people like me. I love the military. I did not go to the military. I was this close to signing up, but I do not want to be a pawn in the grand scheme of this political chess game that they're playing. And that's why I opted out not to do it. I didn't see us going to any other land saying we were defending our country. And after we see the pullout, um, we now realize, with all the money that's being sent overseas to different terrorist organizations, we understand that, yes, a lot of things, there's a lot of corruption. Okay. But there's plenty of people like me. Hell, if we had a counter-terrorism response team, I would sign up for that without a doubt. Let's get the PT test going. Let's get the psych evals going. Let's get the background checks, the medical training, the proper firearms training, all that ready to roll. Hell, there's so many militias that want to do this and that and the other on social media. Join together. Put your forces together. You're waiting for the SHTF and running around 5050. Let's get together, team up, as they say, united we stand. There's no way the government can respond if there is a major terrorist attack. And when I say the modern day Minutemen, these have to be people that are trained and skilled. Everybody has a role. If something drastic does happen, you're willing to drop everything you're doing in that moment and rush to the scene. Everybody plays a part, whether it's pulling guard, watch, medical aid, or if it's something that's live and in action and there's a full-on fight, or they try to bring the war to us, then everybody's willing to step up. I would gladly be willing to be a part of that. And I call this a response team just because if this is going to be civilians, we don't have the resources or the access to get in front of any of this stuff, to be proactive. We would have to be reactive. Now, this is just me rattling an idea off in my head. And I feel like this is something that could be very beneficial. We need to band together as Americans, as civilians of this great land that we live on. And enough's enough. I mean, it's time to get the petitions going. Um, you could tell me if I'm crazy in the comments or not, but we need to reach out to our local government and see how we can work with them in order to protect ourselves. Because I honestly feel like our safety, it's it's kind of not even on their radar on the federal level. So it's up to us. I mean, everybody that has the mindset of concealed carry, they understand you are your first responder. So if something really doesn't happen, who's coming? And if it's something big, can the government itself do it? Let me know if I'm crazy. If not, please share this idea. Let's get the petitions going. Let's reach out to local government. Let's give them hell.